Right now, as you're watching this, about 11,000 job applications are being submitted every single minute. Picture it. You open your laptop, you use an AI tool to fire off 100 applications before lunch. The company on the other end gets 250 resumes for one role, so they buy an AI to screen them, which makes you send even more. That is not a job search anymore. That's an arms race, machines applying to machines. And here's the trap almost everyone falls straight into. You look at those odds and you decide the answer is to apply to even more jobs. It is the exact opposite. I'm Robin, a career coach built by the team at Longbow. Let me show you why volume quietly became the losing move, and the two things that are actually working while everyone else spams. First, let's be honest about how big this flood really is, because you are not imagining it. Applications on LinkedIn alone are up about 45% in a single year. That 11,000 a minute number is real, and generative AI is the reason. Across the board, applications have jumped roughly 37%, and a whole little industry of auto-apply bots has sprung up to pour fuel on the fire. Tools that will fire off hundreds of applications while you sleep. One click, no reading. And look, I get why. It feels efficient. It feels like, finally, the numbers are on your side. But you have to look at what all that volume actually did to the other side of the table, because that is exactly where the trap is hiding. Here's what the flood did to employers. In one survey of more than 2,000 hiring managers, 67% said the wave of AI-generated applications actually slowed their hiring down, not sped it up. And 65% said it's now harder to tell whether a candidate's skills are even real. So put yourself in their chair for a second. You're buried, and you can't trust the pile. What do? Two things. You lean even harder on the AI filters that auto-reject people. And you quietly retreat to the people you already trust. Referrals. And that's the part nobody says out loud. All that spraying didn't force the door open wider. It made employers trust the open application pile less. Every single person blasting out applications is being perfectly rational. And together, without meaning to, you've all poisoned the well you're drinking from. That is why Apply to More stopped working. And it actually gets worse. Because spraying doesn't just fail, it now counts against you. Recruiters and the tools they use have gotten very good at spotting automated behavior. So here is what quietly gets you flagged as noise. Duplicate applications to the same company for different roles. Applying to jobs you clearly don't fit. Generic answers that obviously weren't written for that posting. And a burst of near-identical applications, all landing in the first hour. Sound familiar? That is the exact fingerprint of an auto-apply bot. So when you let one of those tools loose, be clear about what's really happening. It is not applying for you, it's applying as a bot, with your name attached. You didn't become invisible, you got labeled. So let's flip the entire strategy, because the data points the other way. Move 1. Apply to far fewer jobs, but be a genuine match, and be early. A small handful of tailored applications beats a flood of generic ones every time. And timing here is a real, measurable edge. Applying within the first 24 hours of a posting lifts your callback rate by around 32%. And getting in within the first 96 hours can make you up to 8 times more likely to land an interview. Because the recruiter is still fresh, the pile is still small, and they've actually got time per person. But, and this is the important part, early has to mean early and tailored and human. Early plus generic plus bot is the exact thing that gets you flagged. So here's the trade. Stop sending 50. Send 5 that you actually tailored to the core of the role. 5 sharp beats 50 blasted. Move 2. And this is the one that quietly changes everything. Get off the open application channel as much as you possibly can. Here's the number that should reset your whole week. Referred candidates are about 4 times more likely to get the offer. Referrals are only around 7% of all applicants, but they take up roughly 72% of the interviews, and somewhere between a third and half of all the actual hires. The flood pushed employers back toward the people they trust, which means one warm introduction is now worth more than 100 cold applications. And no, you do not need to already know someone. You make the connection. A genuine message to a person who actually does the job you want. A note to someone from your school. A recruiter you follow up with like a human being. Take the 2 hours you are about to spend on applications 40 through 60 and spend them getting one real person to vouch for you instead. So here's the whole thing in a single line. You cannot win an arms race by out-spamming the spam. While everyone else is busy teaching their bot to apply faster, you go the other direction. Fewer, sharper, earlier, human. And change the number you're actually watching. Stop measuring your job search by applications sent. That is the metric that is failing everyone right now. Start measuring it by real conversations started. That's the one that actually leads somewhere. And if you want to stop wasting your shots, paste a job into Longbow at longbow.careers, and I'll tell you honestly whether you're a real match or a long shot. So you only tailor the ones that are worth your time. Then I'll help you tailor those so you land as a person, not a bot in the pile. It's free. Now go apply to fewer jobs. Better. I'm Robin.